I graduated like somewhere in December before the holidays, went home, and she tells me I'm pregnant. I was about to be a dad. I was overwhelmed, didn't know what to do. One of my friend's girlfriend comes in and says, "Hey, do you guys want a job?" And I was like, "What's the job about?" It was a CNA program, and I did it. I did my CNA. That's where it all started.
You treat every single person like with that same love, you know? You're like, oh, I really think that this person could be my father, you know? If you see someone struggling, you're the first one to get to go help them.
Help them out. You know?
Always, you know?
It's either he's going to go to juvenile hall or he's going to go to boot camp. So boot camp it was. Kept me clean. You know, you can't go nowhere. You're stuck in the barracks.
To go from being homeless to now you own your own house here in Las Vegas in a beautiful community. You have all your children that you were able to take to Disneyland. Like, how does that make you feel?
And your relationship with your kids now, how is it?
Oh, it's wonderful. I talk to my kids every day. You know, we're always FaceTiming. And there was a point where I just wanted to give up.
What's some advice that you would give to somebody?
Keep going. Keep striving. When you have nothing and you hit rock bottom, God will put something for you where you keep striving. And my strive was my kids. My kids had me going all this time.
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone does something wrong in their life, you know, but, you know, that doesn't change who you are as a person. Do you feel like you're a work in progress?
I am a work in progress. Still to this day.
Welcome back. So this is part 2 of our longer episode that you guys already heard the story about my dad, which I feel like we didn't even get into a lot of what happened to my dad, but because he had a stroke. Did we even talk about the stroke?
We didn't get to the...
I kind of like briefly went through it because I was like trying to get you guys some information. But so after, you know, his story, we kind of briefly talked about his stroke, but he did have a really, really massive stroke actually that he wasn't supposed to survive from, but God had other plans for him. And he's still here. He's doing amazing. He's been like, how amazing has he done in the last 3 years? Like
incredible. Well, I mean, the full paralysis on the left side, and then he came back from coma.
He was on a ventilator for 3 months. Like his growth has been drastic, and we are just so grateful. And I mean, honestly, it's just hard to think about sometimes. But we asked him if he wanted to move to Las Vegas, and he did. And so we moved him here so he could be closer to us and his family. And when he moved here, he does need full-time care. So we moved him into an assisted living facility so that way he could have someone watching him 24/7. And we noticed very quickly that we also wanted extra hands on him because, as you guys know now, my dad has been an entrepreneur his whole life. So he likes to get out. He likes to, and I wanted him to feel as normal as possible. So we started looking for caregivers. And honestly, it was one of the hardest things that we had been through because caregiving is one of those jobs. It's a super hard job, but it's really hard to find somebody who has everything that we were looking for, I guess you could say. We wanted somebody that was kind, you know, that was able to hang out with my dad and also provide friendship, and somebody who just, I don't know, like embodied everything that we really wanted. So my dad had a best friend here. And that's where Ron came in the picture. And we couldn't imagine life without Ron. He is somebody that I don't know, I think God came into our lives and was just like, here, you guys need to meet. I actually met him through a recommendation. Oh, that's right. My friend recommended him and said that he actually took care of her father. And he was actually the only caregiver that would bathe her father. She was telling me like he is a godsend and that her dad absolutely loved him, and it was unfortunate he passed away a few years ago. He had Alzheimer's, right?
He had Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So that was really hard.
And it was more a companionship when I was with him.
Yeah. And so you were working at an agency at the time.
I was working for an agency, and that agency would send us to the veterans' homes. You know, I was working for the veterans. And one day, you know, I show up to the house, and your friend gave me instructions of what to do. But usually in the mornings, to start them out fresh, I bathe them. So, you know, I decided to go my own way, started bathing them, but she had forgotten something. She came back to the house and she tells me, "Oh, what's going on here? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, I'm just giving him a shower." And that's where she's, "Oh my goodness. I couldn't, you know, he hasn't gotten a shower for about a year or two. All the caregivers would just give him a sponge bath." So
And he
I
was so
gave him a
happy,
shower.
right?
He was so happy. He was so excited. He, like a week after giving him a shower every day, he decided he wanted to go out to a casino and have dinner for the first time going out because he really didn't go out. And unfortunately, came back. He got sick. He was sick for about a week or two, ended up getting pneumonia, and eventually passed away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so sad. It's like probably the hardest part of your job, honestly. So one thing a lot of people ask me about is how we found Ron, but a lot of people don't know his story and how he found us. So I feel like we need to go back and talk about how you got into caregiving and who you are, Ron, because I think a lot of people need to know your story because I think it's going to inspire a lot of people.
Okay.
So Ron, tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you grew up.
My childhood. I grew up in Ventura County. My parents were born in El Salvador. They came to the U.S. My dad was about 16 years old with a visa, and my mom crossed illegally. But eventually, they both got their citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah, and
You were born here.
I was born in Ventura County.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you were born there too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Did she ever give you that story of her crossing the border a little bit?
not really.
No?
I think it was a little tough for her. You know, it was easier for my dad. So for her to tell the story to us, I don't think she really wanted to
No.
let us know what happened, what really happened there.
What did your parents do for a living?
My dad was a design cutter and for Patagonia, and my mom was a housekeeper. And, you know, my dad made okay money. My mom, not so good. So we lived in a low-income community. And, you know, it was all good. We lived in a busy street, so there was about 10, 15 homes. There was a bunch of kids. We would always play outside in the alley. I don't know if you guys remember if you guys had an alley where you guys lived, but
We had a cul-de-sac.
yeah,
Cul-de-sac.
cul-de-sac. Yeah, that's nice too.
Yeah.
Hanging out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would play all these sports, you know. We went from playing soccer to baseball, riding our bikes. Yeah.
We talked about that actually yesterday, how when we were young, like our parents used to just let us go outside and they're like, just come home when the street lights are on,
yeah.
you know? And we would drive our bikes we would ride our bikes so far. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember being so far away from my home. But I can't imagine I was older than 12. It was crazy, you know. Like now I think about it, I'm like, I would never let Sophie or Mila go out on their bikes by themselves ever.
Yeah, they got a little bit more strict. But then again, you know, these kids don't even go out and play anymore. You know, they're always on their
I know.
iPads or
I know.
on their phones. But
I know. So then, okay, so you were in Ventura and Colonia, right?
yeah, we lived in Colonia. It's
Colonia.
you know, it's a tough city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually haven't been there.
No.
Yeah. Have you been there?
I've never been there either. But so you grew up in it, you said it's a tough city in terms of like that there's
Well, the
a
city
higher crime rate than average.
The city's called Oxnard,
Mm.
and there's a little place where it's Colonia, but it's really known because they have a gang activities there. And,
Oh,
yeah, but
wow.
growing up, you know, it was good. But then, going to middle school, I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, and you know, that's when I experimented my first
In middle school?
high.
No
I got
way.
high for the first time.
How old were you?
I was in 6th grade when I first tried. Yeah. First
That's-
grade.
Look, when you hang out with the wrong people, I mean,
Yeah.
they influence you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And so then what happened? Did you go down that path?
you know, I was okay. Went to high school. I did wrestling in high school. So that kind of kept me on the right track.
That's good.
But, you know, you always have those friends that, you know, you want to party with, you want to be cool. So went to high school and I was living the party life. You know, I started drinking. I started dating girls. You know, I moved on to a higher drug.
So just it's easy to fall into the
Yeah.
wrong crowd. So don't feel like I would just want you to feel a little bit more
Thank you.
comfortable to
Thank
tell
you.
a
Yeah, of
story that
course.
it's easy. Everybody can fall into the wrong crowd. Everybody can make a mistake. So don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
I made lots of mistakes as well.
What's one?
What's what? Okay.
So Ron feels more comfortable.
Chris, you can probably know more about my mistakes than I do. I have a really, really bad memory. I just like to block out things that I did bad, you know? So that
You've never been arrested.
I stay happy. Oh, no, I think I was almost arrested once, but
Oh,
It's because I think I went in with a friend and okay, here's my bad thing.
Yeah, okay.
I went with a friend. Oh, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, and she had a backpack and she was like, just go over in the corner. And she like started shoving CDs in her backpack, from Costco.
CDs.
Yeah, it was like CDs.
I remember people stealing CDs.
Yeah, it was. And then she like, and then I was with her, and I was clueless, and I was like, I'm just gonna like go buy something so it looks like I'm not the accomplice, So I literally, that was like the wrong move because then they had my name. So I went, so I went and bought like some candy, I think, and I was like, hey, I'm buying some candy, and then I was like, thought I was all normal, and she like was like, I'll meet you right here. So I bought some candy, and then I like met her, and then the police called me like 6 hours later, and they're like, hey, you guys need to bring that stuff back, or you're gonna get arrested. So I was like, oh my.
That's so funny.
So yeah, stuff like that.
But then it's too easy to be around the right crowd. Is that I remember once when I was 7 or 8 years old that I took like a Kit Kat from the. I remember this clearly that I took it from like a 7-Eleven, and then I showed you, and you were actually like, no, you can't take that. We have to go back in, and you walked me back into the 7-Eleven. And you probably don't even remember that, but you walked me back into the 7-Eleven, so you have to return it. And I was like uncomfortably returning the Kit Kat. So it's just a matter of who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with.
You learn pretty quickly. Like, I mean, I feel like once you get in that much trouble with like police or something, I feel like, okay, like I'm not going to go down that route,
Exactly.
I was lucky though.
I always had my parents in mind, because
Yeah.
they were hard workers and they always told me, don't steal, don't do drugs. And,
Yeah.
so I did all the drugs, but try to be good at the same time.
Yeah.
know?
You always are.
Yeah.
You like are the kindest, sweetest person. Like there's no one nicer than Ron, like honestly. And you
Thank
put up
you.
with so much. Like my dad, like my dad gets like angry. Obviously, I mean, after you have a stroke, I feel like not only do you have like these mood swings, but
Yeah.
also he's just so used to being so independent and like wants to go to Mexico whenever he wants, And so to me, like
He was used to doing everything on his own.
Yeah.
Kept going and doing everything. for
Yeah.
himself.
So like you have to be like the bad guy a lot. So thanks, Ron. So tell us a little bit about high school. So I know I remember you
So,
telling me
I
that you had to move from high schools, right?
Yeah, I got to go back because I ended up meeting the mother of my girls. We dated, kept
what-
going.
What grade?
This was, I want to say 10th
10th grade.
grade, yeah.
Okay.
But, I was still doing bad.
You had a baby in 10th grade?
I did not. I ended up going to a continuation school after that. And I ended up getting caught getting high again.
What is a continuation
A
school?
continuation school is, where you trying to, you do bad in high school and try to go to the continuation to get your credits and catch up with your high school. But, there's that crowd where there's the gang members, there's the taggers, there's, kids that do the drugs.
It's people that have been expelled from regular high schools.
Yes.
So if
pretty
you've been
much,
expelled from regular high schools, all the expelled kids go to a continuation school.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
I can't imagine you getting expelled from high school.
I
Like
did.
Ron.
I know.
So, I got caught. They took me into the principal's office. They called my mom. And when they called my mom, that's when my heart dropped because, I didn't want to disappoint my mother.
Oh.
But I did. And, they told her it's either he's going to go to juvenile hall or he's going to go to boot camp. So boot camp it was.
So it was like a military boot camp.
It was a military,
Wow.
school. Yeah.
How was that?
That was pretty interesting. I remember the first day going, we got a bus in the city that would took us to boot camp. And, I had 5 friends in the bus and me. So there were 6 of us. And then the bus was full of kids. And, we were all listening to the music, having a good time, laughing and cracking up, making jokes, making fun of people or, whatever goes on in there. And once we got to boot camp, it wasn't fun and games anymore. It was the sergeant going in, yelling at you to get off the bus. Once we got off the bus, they tell you to get on a line, but, they try to throw you off because you're like, what line? What do you do? They just trying to drill you and drill you.
So it was scary at first.
It was intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try
Wow.
to.
And then did you still have did it clean you up a little bit, you think, or did you still do drugs there?
No, I didn't. That's a good point of my life for a good 8 months because I was there for about 6 to 8 months and kept me clean. You can't go nowhere. You're stuck in the barracks.
Yeah, really. That's good
Yeah.
for you.
So they teach you a lot of discipline. They do physical and mental training. And the first step is to get through that. Then once, all these kids fall off from boot camp, there was about 200 kids and about 50 of us graduated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was one of the only friend that graduated. All my friends didn't make it. They
Aw.
all went home crying, they couldn't take it. But,
Wow.
You
I
were,
think
one
this
out
is
of
where wrestling helped me out too.
Yeah.
Because, wrestling is a tough sport. And to make it through, it was tough in boot camp. But yeah, I ended up graduating. But before that, I was doing so good. I had like a pass to go home. And I had my girlfriend. And I don't know how to say this, but I think this is where she got pregnant. So I didn't find out. I graduated like somewhere in December before the holidays, went home, and she tells me I'm pregnant.
So this was after you got your GED?
Yeah, I got my GED there in
At
the boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went home at like 18, you think you were?
I was 18 years
Okay.
old. Yeah. I
And
was
you were about to be a
18,
dad.
and I was about to be a dad. I was overwhelmed, didn't know what to do. And so I went to Minnesota for a few months. I know my daughter was supposed to be born. So this is between December and September. My daughter was born in September, and I came back. I moved to Minnesota, came back just on time to make it to her when she was born. Yeah.
Wow. What did you do in
And,
Minnesota?
I worked at a warehouse with one of my uncles, and it was just work every day, every
Okay.
day. Yeah, I was getting paid under the table.
And you were still
So
clean then?
I was still clean because, my daughter. But so when I came back from Minnesota, I was hanging out with my friends, and there was about 3 of us. And one of my friend's girlfriend comes in and says, "Hey, do you guys want a job?" And I was like, "What's the job about?" And they're like, "Well, you're going to have to take care of people." And I was like, "Really? Huh?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a try." And she's all like, "First, you have to take a course." It was 6 to 8 months too,
Oh,
like
wow.
boot camp, and it was a CNA program, and I did it.
At 18 years old, you did your CNA?
I did my CNA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and from there, that's where it all started.
Yeah. So then after you got your CNA license, did you start working right away?
Well, did the class, and once I took my exam test from the state test, I was able to start working at a convalescent home. And
I remember you telling me that was hard.
that was really hard. My first day, I walk in, and all I smell was urine, feces.
Oh.
And I hear this guy saying, "Take me home, take me home." And I was like, I look back, and the thing that caught my eye was that this guy's nose was missing. You can see the inside of the structure of his nose.
What happened to it?
I have no idea what had happened to him. He was never my resident, so I never knew what happened to him.
Wow.
But that kind of touched me, That could have been my father. That could have been any of my relatives. And it was just too sad. It
Yeah.
was sad. So, but thank God I had the heart and, what's the word? The softness in my heart to
You still
go
have
through
that.
it.
You still have that, Ron. Like, that's what's so special
Yeah.
about you,
Oh,
honestly,
thank
that you treat every single person
Yeah.
like with that same love, that
Thank you.
that you're like, oh, I really think that this person could be my father, and
Yeah.
it's nice. Even other people, the residents that live with my father, like,
Yeah.
if you see someone struggling, you're the first one to get
Yeah,
to
I
help
do.
them.
I help them out,
Always,
I
they probably all
help
love
out.
So I know you had a relapse, right? Like in your 20s.
Well, got my CNA and I thought I was doing okay, but my friends had moved on to a Breaking Bad drug.
Oh no. Ron.
So between that time in my 20s all the way to my 30s, I was just struggling. Kept going. Actually, for years, I was going straight every day where I wouldn't, that high would last for 5 days and then I would come down, you know, just to wake up. I would do it again and just kept going back.
What
and
did that do
forth.
to your marriage?
It it made me to lose my kids. I lost my kids for a good 3 years, but at first they didn't take away my girls, but when it got too bad, they said, this is too much for you. You're a hazard to the girls. We're going to take them away from you. And I was like, no, it really broke my heart.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm sorry. And you got divorced?
When I was doing my CNA, I met the mother of my son. So doing drugs, I was going back and forth with the girl's mother and my son's mother.
Oh, wow.
And
so were you married?
I was married.
Oh, okay.
I was married, but I was going back and forth. I was, partying it up.
Oh, no. Ron,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Your 20s were really hard.
Yes.
I'm gathering here. So that was like your whole 20s, a whole decade.
Yeah.
That you feel
And 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
And then you
Pretty much.
had 2 baby mamas so that you have 2 daughters and then a son now.
Yes, 2 daughters and a son.
And then you have just moved in with your mom.
I moved in with my mom, and that was a good point because this is where I meet Emily.
Oh, good. And Emily was where? She was living upstairs.
She was living upstairs, but she was going through her thing. She was going through domestic violence.
Oh.
I remember one night I would sleep in the living room because my parents only had one bedroom where they would sleep. So I would sleep in the living room, and one day I just heard a big commotion upstairs, and I'm like, man, what's going on? I just heard yelling, cussing, and things being thrown, and my mom came out of the room, and I saw her get the broom, and she was banging on the ceiling. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, don't you hear what's going on? And I was like, yeah, but leave them alone. That's their problem, not our problem, And she said, no, I'm going to call the cops. And I go, no, don't call the cops, But I don't know whether the cops did show up or not. My mom didn't end up calling, but she was so worried.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
were you living back in Ventura? In Ventura County?
We were in Oxnard.
Oxnard. Okay.
Yeah. It's Ventura County, but Oxnard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So your mom stayed in the same place?
She stayed in the same place.
Cool.
Yeah. And the few days, I didn't see them, or in a couple of days go by and I see Emily, and I told her, hey, I heard this commotion, everything okay? And she told me what was going on. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty tough for you too. And then I told her my story. We became friends. And then later, I had a little bit of, I was liking her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crush on her.
Yeah.
You had a crush.
And, we became friends for a few months, and, I pulled a move on her, and she was okay with it. I was like, all right.
While the guy was still there?
Well, he had, oh no, I got to go back. I'm sorry.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, no. He ended up leaving her, and I don't know what happened, but she got evicted. And she had I don't know what happened, but she had nowhere to go. And she had all her stuff and told me, hey, can I leave all my stuff with your mom? And I was like, all right. So.
Your mom let her?
Yeah, nice. My mom let her. Yeah, because she felt so bad for her. But then the landlord found out that all her stuff was in the house. So she told my mom, give all her stuff, take it out, or, you're going to have to get out too. So my mom told her, I can't hold your stuff. And Emily was like, where do I go? So.
Where was she living at the time?
When she got evicted?
Yeah.
Well, she was still there. Once she got evicted, I felt so bad. And I told her, I think we're going to become homeless. And what I mean by that is we started camping every day for
But
about 3 months. Emily had 2 kids.
she had 2
Yeah,
kids.
she
With
had
that
them
guy?
with that guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
And he left them.
left them. Yes,
So when you were talking about that Emily was evicted, it wasn't just Emily. It was Emily and her 2
and their
children.
2
And how
children.
old were her children?
Her children were 4 and 5.
So and how old was Emily?
Emily,
Unless you don't want to say her age. You'd have to put her age out there.
at right now
You
she's 42.
You guys were in your 30s, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, in her
Yeah.
30s. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're right.
She's 2 years younger than I am.
Okay. So she was a young woman with 2 young children and evicted and had nowhere to live.
Correct.
Right. And so and then you just happened to be living below her. You just happened to meet her. And then what did you helped her with this process? So where did you guys go?
She ended up getting a storage for her stuff, and we ended up camping for about 3 months.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
I was working, so, I was kind of providing about a camp. We would camp, we would get there at night after it was closed, we would set up and then go to sleep or hang out, cook, hang out, and then we'd fall asleep, wake up before the Rangers would show up and pack up and go
Why did you have to leave before the Rangers got there?
because we never paid for the camping.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
crazy, Ron.
Yeah.
You did it for 3 months?
We did it for about 3 months, and then
How were you showering? Things like
the
that?
kids were getting tired of it,
Of course.
and crying and nagging all the time.
Oh,
So
babies.
Emily asked her aunt if we can move in, and we moved in for 5 years with her. And we saved up and everything, and we eventually ended up getting an apartment
In California.
in California, and we were in those apartments for about just a few years. I can't remember how long, but we were there.
And then what brought you to Las Vegas? Because I know, so you were I can't believe you were homeless for 3 months with
Yeah.
2 kids. That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
crazy, Ron. Wow. I mean, I think everyone's journey always like contributes to why you are the way you are, though, like, because you're so kind and like, I just feel like you're just so like thoughtful to everyone. And the fact that you would like go make yourself homeless and help Emily with her 2 kids, like,
This is kind of when Emily helped you get clean?
Yeah, when I was, I was still using. It was still pretty bad.
during that
And
time too, when you were living
during-
with your mom,
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Um,
did you hide it from her or she just,
I try to hide it, but I think every mother knows, you're doing what you're doing. And you can never lie to your mom.
yeah.
She knows your heart very well. And there was this one time where Emily told me, you lost your kids, and I don't know how to say it, but she tells me you look so disgusting. My face was picked at, and I think I was getting skinnier,
You were
It
letting
was-
it take over.
Yeah, it was taking over me.
All right.
And just from that, you were like, okay, I'm gonna stop. You can stop like that.
Well, what got me the most was that I had lost my kids,
Yeah.
and I wanted them back so badly. So I got cleaned up, and I've been clean for about 14 years, 15 years already. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. So tell us why you moved to Las Vegas.
I, rent in California was starting to get too expensive, and I had some money, came here to Vegas, and I bought my house here.
You have your own house.
I have my
That's
own
right.
house. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And so you're living with Emily now.
No, yeah,
You guys are
I'm
still
living with
together?
them. We're still together.
Yeah.
We're happy. I'm working for the agency, and then a year or so, about a year. I get a call from your friend, and this is where
Yeah, and she was
we
like,
meet. Yeah.
I know somebody who's gonna call you.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Yeah. So then we ended up calling Ron, and I think you were like, I am only available on Sundays.
On the on
Yeah.
Sundays, on the weekends. Yeah.
So I think we
And then you told me, oh, can you work, the weekdays? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I have this job and I just don't want to let it go. And thank goodness I said yes.
I was like, we'll pay
Yeah.
more. And I was like,
Yeah,
please, because he was
yeah.
so good. And I'm like, we are not going to find anyone else like Ron. So I was like, it was so worth it. And we've been together ever since, honestly.
Yeah.
Your life, I mean, what a change, right? Going from homeless with two children, from Emily, your children. Were you seeing your children when you were camping? What was the relationship like with your children?
I was only allowed to see him for a few hours. I wasn't seeing them too long
Mhm.
until I got sobered up. Then the mother started letting me see them slowly until I build up that relationship with my kids again.
Because the only reason why I bring that up is not to dwell on that story, but it's where Alex and I just watched you take all your kids to Disneyland last week, and it's just like, so to have now you own your house, to go from it's hard to use the word homeless, but to
Yeah.
go from being homeless to now you own your own house here in Las Vegas, in a beautiful community, not a small, it's a beautiful house,
Thank you.
and you have all your children that you were able to take to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like, how does that make you feel without it being like, not trying to be like turning
Yeah,
your
yeah.
key, but
It makes me very happy
how does that make you feel?
because, when they were little, they weren't so close. But as years went by, they started, getting attached to each other. My girls are like best friends with Emily's daughter.
That's
and,
awesome.
my son is very best friends with my son. So I'm very, very happy.
And your relationship with your kids now how is it?
Oh, it's wonderful. I love them. I talk to my kids every day. We're always FaceTiming, and
Aw,
I have my oldest daughter has 2 grandchildren.
that's amazing.
My life is good.
Yeah.
Working for Don Emilio is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Aw.
Second best thing that ever happened. But it's
Emily's
still
first.
part-
Emily's first.
Is that Emily or your children? Are you saying her?
Third thing.
Third thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have you guys. I've traveled more than ever in my life. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Washington D.C. to see the White House. I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Greece, Italy,
Portugal?
Yeah,
you been?
no, Portugal.
Oh, we still have to go to
Yes.
Portugal. That's right. We took Dad with Luca to Portugal.
Yeah.
Oh, but I thought you went on a cruise.
We did go on a cruise.
We
That was
did
to
Oh,
go
you
Greece.
cruise,
didn't
yeah.
go on that
Oh my
cruise.
gosh!
It's a
Do you remember
Mediterranean
that Montenegro?
Oh,
Oh my gosh! We went to the city in Montenegro, and we didn't know the city was only stairs. Okay, and Dad's in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and we literally I was like, the taxi just dropped us off, and they took the wheelchair out. Why didn't they tell us that there was
I know.
stairs?
Yeah, it was a bumpy road.
Oh my gosh! Like
bumpy.
Ron and
Michael.
Michael had to hold the wheelchair the entire time, going the whole down the city. It was really crazy.
Was it
but-
the heavy mechanical one, or at least a non-mechanical one?
It was a non-mechanical.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but it was still nuts. I felt bad for
I
Dad.
think if we would have took the electric wheelchair, oh boy, that would've been tough. That would've been
Yeah.
really tough.
At the very bottom, all the people there were so nice though. They were like,
Yeah.
"Here's a shot." Like they were just handing Dad shots of alcohol.
At the finish line.
Okay, so I just want to ask, what you would give to some advice to somebody that may be going through a similar situation, maybe losing their kids or going through an era where drugs may be taking over their life. Like, what's some advice that you would give to somebody? in your
Don't give up.
situation?
Keep going. Keep striving. Because when you have nothing and you hit rock bottom, God will put something for you where you keep striving. Yeah. And my strive was my kids. My kids had me going all this time.
No, I love
Yeah.
that. They're
You
gonna
felt like you felt rock bottom.
Yeah, there was a point where I just wanted to give up.
Mm.
I came close.
Mm.
Came really close.
Was that before you met Emily?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. I was driving. It's I don't know how to say it, but it was in Malibu. I don't know if you there's mountains up there, and there's curvy roads, and just wanted to
Just turn that wheel
turn
off
that
the road.
wheel, and
I felt like
Yeah.
it's horrible. Yeah, it's.
So-
I've even expressed that to you a couple times.
Yeah.
don't
But
give up.
I'll call
Keep
her.
going.
I mean, this is your story. It's not about me at
No,
all.
no, yes,
But like
please.
you and I have these conversations all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know your story, so it's so personal for me, and it's so touching for me. So it's hard for me not to interject. So I apologize.
Yeah,
But like,
no,
because I
no.
know your story.
Everyone's gonna get mad at you,
I know
Chris.
Everyone's gonna get
No,
mad at me
no.
for interjecting. So I'm gonna stop.
They don't like when they're like, don't interrupt your guest. But well, thank you, Ron, so much for doing this. And
Welcome. Thank you guys. And
do you-
thank you guys for trusting me. After you
oh my
guys
gosh.
hear my story now.
Oh my gosh. Nothing
Thank
changes
you. Thank you.
because your heart is pure. Like you have the best heart out of anyone I know. So that's, I feel like everyone goes through this. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone does something wrong in their life, but that doesn't change who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And
People can change.
I agree.
Yeah.
People definitely can change. Do you feel like you're a work in progress?
I am a work in progress. still to this day.
That's what this whole podcast is about, honestly. And I really hope that people watch this and get inspired and, know that every single person, no matter what they're showing you online, is a work in progress, and everyone can change, and everyone can,
They can.
right? Do you agree?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You have a bigger purpose in this life, that's for sure. And I'm so glad that you found your purpose, Ron.
Sure.
It's very, very clear that this is what you should be doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is how we close out every podcast. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. And as always, let's make progress together. Bye.